welcome to a promotion for Totes Recall Live. I'm Dan Jaquette, and this is how I talk. Just kidding.
What?
Oh, you know what?
Can't hold on to that?
I mean, you were struggling so bad, but
I really believe
I didn't
it.
want to help you because you're being so mean to Dan.
If you want to see Molly be this mean to me in person,
Oh, yeah.
go to live.totesrecall.com to get tickets to our live show happening February 22nd at the Tri-Lawn Theater in Minneapolis, Minnesota. February 22nd,
2018.
It's going to be great.
Men in Black.
Men in Black, the movie.
7 p.m. with a
Here
6:30
comes the
pizza
man.
reception.
Ooh.
Pizza talk.
Pizza talk.
You can have real live face-to-face pizza talk and watch Molly roll her eyes so hard.
a whole half hour of pizza
A
talk.
whole half hour of Molly hating herself.
Live.totesrecall.com, February 22nd.
I'm Dan Jaquette.
Um, Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we can't remember.
Kool-Aid Man is in.
And we break through a huge wall with 2 pizzas and 2 salads. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, patrons. And then watch that movie while eating and drinking. Spoiler alert, we also drink often tea.
Tea
Oh.
or
In the
sparkling
cold
water.
No.
But some of
Pizza-
us don't.
Some of us don't.
Pizza and salad talk is plenty. We do not
want
need
tea
to
talk?
add in drink.
Oh, you're
no
talking
tea
about
talk.
we drink tea during the show, often drink sparkling water during the movie.
Oh, God bless
Often, yes.
America.
Beth
Nobody
bucks
cares.
all beverage trends.
Yeah. Beth will occasionally drink some water.
She is a
Still
robot.
Flat water?
Yeah.
Water?
Flat.
All right. From
Flat.
Bill's Beach.
What movie are we making?
when he comes back in.
My name is Dan,
I'm Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
and our movie this episode is Groundhog Day.
What was that?
Groundhog Day. I get it.
Ah.
Groundhog Day.
Starring-
The day when a groundhog comes out of a box. It's kind of stupid. I don't know how it started. Groundhog Day.
That's the one. Starring Bill Murray and
Andy
Andie MacDowell?
MacDowell.
Yes.
Andy
I
MacDowell.
I almost said
Is it
Anne
raining?
Hathaway.
Daniel Stern?
No.
Who's like the awkward cameraman friend?
Ooh, great question.
Chris Elliott.
Chris
Yes, there we
Elliott.
go.
Yep, he's a
Yes.
Daniel Stern type.
This movie also has beloved character actor Stephen Tobolowsky.
It
Yes.
does.
I'm very excited about that.
This movie was maybe the first movie where I knew who he was.
Like knew his name or recognized him?
Seeing him moving forward in my life, this was the touchstone for my experience with him.
Yep.
Because at first it was some guy I don't know. Then it was, that guy from Groundhog Day. That was a delight.
Totally.
And then, he has a name. And it's a delightful name.
Yeah.
Stephen Tobolowsky. And
Yeah.
then I think he's got a podcast too that I keep forgetting about
Yes. I also forget about
until I don't.
it. I feel like he might have written a book too
Sure.
about being Stephen Tobolowsky.
He seems like a man of many talents.
Yeah.
And I hope he's not a creep.
Yes. We all hope that.
Yes.
What?
And
I
that's-
just want to point out that I got a lot of shit from y'all for trying to put the Star Wars universe in context of my own life.
Okay.
And here, Dan has put this famous character actor in context of his life.
Okay.
I gotta double Dan, okay.
I believe I am relating my personal experience watching this movie in my own life, which is a cornerstone of this podcast. Whereas with The Empire Strikes Back, you were trying to plot whether or not the reality of the movie took place before or after you were born.
Right.
Well, okay. Yeah, can I tell you, I had heard about Groundhog Day forever
Ooh.
Oh.
before I actually saw it. And it was very close to being one of those movies that I never actually saw, that I only heard about.
Did you resent it because people kept talking about
Yes,
it?
it was
Oh,
like
no.
Friends. You know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring up Friends already.
I
The
think you
TV
meant
show?
to do that on purpose.
Yeah, pretty sure you had that planned out the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I resisted watching it because it was so popular. if that makes sense. Like, I
Sure.
felt like I'd already seen it without seeing it.
For sure.
So then I finally made a conscious decision to watch it when it came on TV. And
Yeah.
it was good.
It's a big TV movie for sure.
Yeah. And I guess it's a good TV movie because you can tune in at any time,
Right.
right? And just sort of pick up wherever.
You get most of the.
You know,
the gist
you
of
get
it.
the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the middle chunk's kind of
Tedious.
I mean, it's just the
Repetitive.
same.
Deliberately.
Yeah. Same day over and over.
put my little hand in yours.
What?
That's the song he wakes to every
Is
day.
it?
Something like that.
All right.
Oh.
Wait.
I
Dance
thought it
or
was
Quit
Cher.
Back? No, it's I Got
Cher.
You,
It's Sonny
Babe.
and Cher. I Got You, Babe.
Oh.
Bup, bup,
Ooh, maybe
Isn't there a line that's like
maybe the syndicated version you saw didn't have the licensing rights to do the Sonny and Cher song. How does that work? I actually don't know. Music licensing heads, tweet at us. How does it work when a movie gets the license to play a song? Does it just always have the rights for that song, no matter what situation that movie is played?
Well, I think no,
Okay.
because I'm aware of the movie Rad, which has
That's a biking movie.
it's a BMX biking movie,
Oh my
and
God.
it has "Send Me an Angel" as a song.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's a famous song in it, but it's never been released on VHS or DVD because they didn't have the rights to do that
Okay.
aspect of it.
Okay.
And I guess it's a famous song, so it's expensive, and
Sure.
no one cares about a BMX movie.
But I would think a major motion picture
Would
would just get
handle
all
it,
of the
right?
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
Rad is old enough that they couldn't conceptualize of a universe where they
Okay.
have to write
I
in.
just want to mention that when I worked at a major media corporation, there was language in all of our legal disclaimers that mentioned any distribution now or that could forever be put in the future. Like literally, they put a clause
Yeah.
in that protected against
Like brain
any
lasers.
distribution in the future. Yeah. So I feel like maybe, I don't know if Rad was a major motion picture. I
Well, I
don't
don't
mean
know.
to be an elitist, but
Tweet at us, Radheads.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Tweet at us, Radheads.
Whatever you want.
Please.
Specifically, why that movie is hard to find or impossible to get legally.
But also, like, why you consider yourself a radhead?
Yeah.
Because that sounds fascinating.
Yeah,
Oh.
and just hashtag and that BMX emoji.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
sure.
it's there. Use it.
Also, if you have like any sweet tricks you want to show us.
Yeah, like YouTube.
Please.
Link us to your YouTube.
Yeah.
Send us a Vine
Sure.
wow.
or whatever.
Yeah. It's not.
Did anybody see this movie in a theater setting?
No.
No.
I feel like I was.
Has anyone seen it in a
too
theater?
young?
I think I've only ever seen this movie on TV.
I'm sure I watched this on VHS copies from some movie channel.
Yeah. I feel like I probably. This feels like a movie like my dad would rent or something. Like, oh, you guys like Bill Murray from that Ghost movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year do you think this movie came out in?
Ooh.
90s,
90
right?
Oh, it's got to be 90s.
90,
But like. early
98?
90s?
4?
95. Molly's bet 95. It's a Hail Mary. I have no idea. Maybe
Great.
96. I don't know.
I'm going to say 93.
Ooh.
Well, when did I don't know. Now I'm going back in my memory as if I am in any way an expert on Andie MacDowell's career.
What were you going to try and
Just trying to think like
anchor
when
this
did she
to?
like come on the scene?
When
you
she
know what I
Oh,
mean?
way before Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although she was in, what is that Hugh Grant movie where she has that line where she says, "Is it raining? I hadn't noticed." Do you know what I'm talking
What?
about?
No.
Yeah.
British Rain?
It was.
That's the one?
No,
Yeah.
it was a romantic movie. It was just a really poorly delivered line. And the thing about Andie MacDowell, okay, here's what I know about her.
Okay.
Her first appearance was in a movie I think called Caveman,
Never
which
seen
was
that.
from like the 80s, and it tried to depict, I don't know, I want to say realistic cave people, but that already sounds wrong. But what I do know is they overdubbed her voice with Glenn Close's.
What?
Whoa.
Yes. Because she has a southern accent and it just didn't work with the film.
Caveman Can't Be Southern?
I mean,
It's regionalist.
and then her really big acting debut, or where she really got noticed, was Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which I
have
think
seen
was
it.
in early 90s. It seems like it was early 90s, maybe mid. And that was a really big deal. And she did an awesome job in that one. She did great. Like, she blushed on cue.
What?
5 different times. It did 5 takes where
Wow.
her character was embarrassed and she blushed beautifully each time. I don't know why. I think I used to read a lot of entertainment magazines. I have a really weird depth of memory, but Andie MacDowell, I have a whole file on.
Do you think those entertainment magazines are why you think you've seen a lot of movies that you haven't actually seen?
I mean,
Cool.
that's legit.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are you've actually seen this movie?
I mean, okay. I've learned to not say definitely, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have because it really annoyed me, and I thought I wish I hadn't watched this whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, remember I watched it by myself, so
Sure.
I think that affects things.
Can I bet?
Yeah.
88.
Nice.
I feel like this movie's been around like before me.
Ah, it was a pre-Beth movie.
Yeah.
BBM.
Again, I got
Wait.
made fun of.
What are the two B's?
There's only one B. PBM.
Before Beth.
Pre-Beth movie.
Oh, P. I didn't hear.
P.
You got to work on your plosives, dog.
I don't want to pop the mic too
Oh, good thing we have these
much.
hot.
I knew you were gonna say Punch. Oh.
Yeah, I definitely saw this at home. I don't remember the situation. Bill Murray's in it. He's a newsman.
Yeah.
Going to Pennsylvania?
Newstown.
Yep. Puxatawny.
Puxatawny.
Puxatawny Phil. His brother's in this.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
the mayor, right? Brian.
Oh yeah,
Doyle
probably.
Murray?
He shows up.
And he's a grump.
He's a news grump.
He's a news grump.
Yes.
Thinks he should be doing something better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's a weather grump.
Oh, is he the weather
Oh.
grump?
Yeah, I think he's the weather guy, right?
Oh.
Maybe. But he doesn't.
Molly's bet.
I think he feels like this is not something that he wants to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's reporting on the groundhog
I feel like
shadow.
his whole life he doesn't feel like he should be doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it's kind of a Bill Murray character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but that's still a bet.
Sure.
But it's not just this assignment.
It's just like his life in general.
Yeah.
Like
Life.
the choices he has made.
Thus far have made him feel not great.
Yeah.
And he does his thing, and then he goes to bed, and then he wakes up, and it's Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an insurance guy he keeps running into on the street.
Ned Needlenose Ryerson.
Yeah, I guess
Is that
so. Is that a
Tobolowsky?
person?
That's Tobolowsky, yeah.
Oh.
Fritz Betts, Ned Needlenose Ryerson.
He steps in the puddle
Yep.
Oh.
after he sees him. Before he sees him.
And then is Andie MacDowell a waitress? No, she's the
No.
producer.
She works with him.
Is
which-
there a waitress? Somebody wipes. Oh, I'm thinking of Pleasantville. They wipe down the counter constantly. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. I think there's some waitresses. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because they eat at a restaurant. at
There's
one
like
point.
a diner
They-
that's
yeah, they
important.
go
Best
to
bet
the-
they eat at a restaurant.
Yeah, well, they go to breakfast,
Uh-huh.
and then Chris Elliott says something about like something.
And does he get face stuff in this one, or there's something about Mary?
Face stuff?
There's something
Something
about
about
Mary.
it, yeah.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
Yeah.
I think Chris Elliott just sort of Chris Elliott's around in this one. He
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
do any like crazy
He's
grotesqueries.
kind of a creep though in this, isn't he?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I think he kind of creeps on Andie MacDowell, but
Oh.
I don't
Jaquette's bad.
remember entirely.
When I first watched it, I didn't think he's a creep. Now, gonna think he's a creep.
You know, I'm not entirely sure though. He might just be kind of like a comedy guy.
Ooh, can I do a parallel Dan's bet to that bet? When I saw this movie, I thought Bill Murray was just like a funny Bill Murray character. Now I'll think he's an asshole
Yeah.
and that he doesn't deserve happiness at the end.
You don't think he'll get there?
I think he will. I barely remember this movie, but I remember the general premise of it. And I think that I think his actions that he takes as he repeats his day over and over will maybe be like, oh, good, he learned to be a better person. But I don't think maybe he'll necessarily like earn Andie MacDowell as a like girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
If I remember right, he breaks out of the Groundhog cycle. Yeah, by winning Andie MacDowell, by having her fall in love with him, by them falling in love.
Yeah, but
Well,
he like
but at
does
one point they
stuff.
seem to fall in love, but then he wakes up again, and it's very disappointing. And she treats him like a stranger, or not a stranger, but a colleague again.
Oh yeah, they have
Yeah.
a card throwing night.
Yeah, there's
And
like
I
this,
think that's how he learns rejection.
and also that like there's more to it than that. Like he has to actually be like a good person and not just like go through the motions.
Oh yeah, because he pretends to be a good person because at that point he's learned enough about her to tell her things that would make her like him.
Yeah, he like tricks her into falling in love with him, and then he doesn't wake, or he wakes up again.
So maybe I'm wrong, and that the movie actually thought this through, and like the last 15 minutes are like, oh no, he actually is like a decent person now, and maybe they'll give it a go.
I think that's kind of how it goes.
Alright.
I'll probably still object because it sounds a lot like the comic book. You earn a woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just by effort of trying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
go find that internet article that I read once. That's good. Called, your princess is in another castle. It's a riff on that old Mario Jag.
Jag?
I'm
Jag?
sorry, what?
Are you talking like that old chestnut?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
chestnut is a better
Yeah.
choice.
Is there a J word that's chestnut?
Chestnut?
Jam? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Tweet at us, idiom heads.
Yeah, I love it.
What that? J nut.
Nope.
Yep. Yes.
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 Yes. What that J nut.
Yeah, this might be more of a second half kind of subject to broach, but like it's kind of it'll be interesting to see because of the premise of this movie, like by its very nature, we can't really see Andie MacDowell's side of them as two people interacting with each other.
Yes. I just thought about this because I think it's set up in a way where it's like they know each other super well, like, but in reality, it's like, I guess they work together, but in reality, she's living the same day over and over and not aware of it.
Right.
Where he's like falling for her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really maybe have the time to do that.
Right.
So it's interesting.
So I guess we'll all be on the edge of our seats to see how they represent the happy ending at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because like if it's just like I love you, we're together now, that seems very problematic. If she's been only living there for a day.
Yeah.
Build a
I'm
snowman,
worried about
Sure.
that.
Oh, well.
don't they?
There's some ice
If
cutting.
they build a snowman, then Molly's bet they also make a snow angel. Because
They
nobody
definitely
ever
make a snow
only
angel.
builds a snowman. There's always a snow angel.
Yep, that's true.
Well, there's also an ice sculpture. That's one of the skills he learns.
Yeah.
Is chainsaw ice
He
sculpting.
learns
Yes.
to play piano.
Yes.
He learns all the answers to Jeopardy.
Oh.
Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Actually keeps watching the same
Yeah.
episode.
Same episode.
And he's like answering the questions before, or he's stating the answers before the questions. How does
In the
Jeopardy
form
work?
of a question.
Yeah.
You send the answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeopardy. What are you doing with that format?
Alex Trebek?
It was novel at the time. They were trying to like make
Like,
something new.
Well, they have
But-
such smart people on there that they have to trip them up somehow.
But then it's like if you forget to say what is, then it's like, oh, you didn't do it. It just
Yeah.
seems trite.
That's all game shows. That's literally
That is
all
the most
game shows.
Fraser Crane thing I think I've
Yeah.
ever heard
Yeah,
you say.
you are Fraser Crane.
That is unbelievable.
I don't know. I never watched Frasier. $3,000. We'll watch what? Cheers and Frasier.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that a good
Yeah,
pairing?
why not?
Okay.
Why not?
I mean, one is a spin-off of the other.
Right.
What's fine, but we'll watch them in order.
What's another good
No.
spin-off we can watch with Frasier?
Ooh, great
One.
question.
News radio.
That's not a spin-off.
I'll watch
No,
News Radio. That
I
show's
see what you're
great.
saying.
I think.
I mean, I was just saying another radio show.
Oh.
Oh,
Great.
WKRP in
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
I like it. Radio, big radio bang.
Oh.
Great.
What?
Anyway. Jeopardy, it doesn't do it for me.
Okay. So have we finished listing all the stuff that he learns or does?
Oh no, he learns a ton of shit.
Oh.
He learns
Kills himself a bunch of times.
bunch
Yeah.
of times. There's
Wow.
that dark period in the movie Groundhog's Day.
There's a toaster. There's
Yes.
a time where he kidnaps the groundhog, and the groundhog drives a car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't drive angry.
Oh.
A famous line. DVDs.
Yeah, I was gonna say the groundhog steering the car feels very much like the Wonders of DVD montage commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he gets hit by a train.
Sure.
Definitely steps in front of a bus.
Definitely jumps off of something.
Jumps
movie
off
sounds-
something. I mean, I think this movie keeps it realer than you would expect.
Yes.
If someone was like, "Hey, it's a movie about Bill Murray doing the same day over."
Like, that's fun. That sounds like a fun romp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some romp parts.
Definitely.
There's a romptage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a definite romp touch.
I mean, the whole movie's like one huge montage.
Kinda, yeah.
Does it pass Bechdel Wallace? I'm going to guess no, or by the skin of its teeth.
God. I mean, so there's Andie MacDowell.
Yeah.
There's the hot chick from somewhere.
Yikes.
Wow. Wow.
You'll see I'm right about this characterization of this character. I don't know if they ever talk.
Is there another woman that works on the news crew?
No,
There's a woman
I
in
think
the
it's just the
van?
I
three
feel
of
like
them.
it's just the
An
three,
anchor?
yeah.
Is there an anchor woman?
No.
I think it's like a field piece where like we're sending
Yeah, but
Bill
don't you like
to
see like you get some establishing thing where he messes up the weather in the studio before they send him out, and you realize that his coworkers don't respect him.
Oh.
That's
I might
good.
have made that up based on how movies work, but I feel like that's in there.
I'm gonna say no. I can't. I mean, there's like an old lady. I feel like everybody's gonna be talking about him if they even have
Yeah.
names and talk to each other.
Yeah.
So
Does
is
it
this like a
start
day with a
with him?
narcissist?
What? Sorry, what?
Is this just a day with a narcissist?
Yes.
I mean, it's a
Okay.
Bill Murray character, so yeah. And
Starts
then
that way.
like the whole idea is that he learns not to be,
Yeah,
basically.
maybe.
Do you think the first day starts with him waking up, or do you think the first day starts with him going to see the groundhog's shadow?
I think I'm pretty sure the movie has him has the news crew coming into town, and then they like get there and establish themselves, and then he wakes up the next day.
Okay.
And so we go through that day once, and then we get cued in the second time
Yep.
by the
Yep.
clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Also, they can't get out of town because there's a big snowstorm coming in, and like a
Yes.
tunnel closes.
Or something.
Oh, that's what Chris Elliott says at the diner.
Oh.
Like
What
a
did he
big
say?
snow moving in.
He's like, we're not going to be able to get out of here because there's a big storm moving in.
Yeah.
That's Beth's bet.
Nice.
Ooh, I like it.
Do we want to bet how long he lives in that hellscape?
Like how many days?
Mm-hmm.
45.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it's not established.
It's not established in the movie. I'm saying you just want to just throw it at the wall, guess, because that's what our show does.
Oh, okay.
Because the internet has talked about this at length.
Oh, really?
Yes.
7 days. Oh, wait. Entirely? How many days? He repeats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like how long? Because his brain doesn't reset. So like how long does Bill Murray the Being exist in
Oh,
Groundhog
maybe longer
Day?
if he learns how to play
A
the
year.
piano.
I'm gonna say like 1,000 days. I think it's long.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
Like, cause
What'd you say? A year?
I said a year.
Yeah. I'm gonna say like it. I don't know. 2.5 years.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he does get really good at piano.
Stuff like
Sure, piano,
various things.
and he tries to
Yeah.
kill himself like 8 times.
A lot.
Wow.
That was my how many times does he try to kill himself? I guess 7 times.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
Man.
bet that too.
What?
I was trying to write down what people bet, but
Uh-huh.
then I forgot, and also we can't check it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We can check how many times he tries to kill himself.
sure.
That would be a fun thing for us to do.
That's so fun.
We can count every time he dies and like shout out loud as
Be
we're
like,
watching it.
1, 2.
Yeah, but I think
This
it's
is such
a,
fun movie.
a hellishly long time.
Yes, agreed.
Wow. This
Or
seems like a
A
not fun movie.
purgatorially long time.
Yeah.
Does he well, maybe this is a second thing too. Do you think he ages? Like, do you think he's like stuck in a time loop, or do you think it's just
Oh, like do his cells get older?
yeah?
I mean, I feel like that
Ooh.
might be a second half discussion because we could go into a lot of different angles on that.
That's
Wow.
fair. I'm gonna bring it back.
Please
Second
do.
half.
Please do.
Cliffhanger.
Oh, what was that you just drew in the notepad there?
Space to do ratings of the movie because I'm ready for that part of the
Okay,
show.
jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Not that we have to move there, but
No,
that's
I was feeling it. I was like, I feel like we've done as many predictions as we can, but I might be wrong. Is there anything else? Here's Molly's bet. There's a very famous person that we totally forgot about.
oh.
I will double
Cameo.
down on that
Yeah.
because it is a comedy that's Bill Murray's in that's directed by Ramis, which means every comedian from a certain era is like friends with them,
Yeah.
so they might show up.
Do you want to bet who it is, or you're feeling like there is one, but you have no idea who?
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't know who it is.
John Lovitz.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh,
That's a good
That's of
one.
an era.
That's a good cameo.
Yeah,
Rick
that's really
Moranis
good.
is my guess.
Sure.
Oh, but he never did anything after Ghostbusters, right?
Wasn't Honey I Shrunk the Kids after Ghostbusters?
Oh, never mind. But then he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't Honey We Shrunk Ourselves after Honey. I
Oh,
Shrunk-
all right.
He did like
fine.
8 Honey
This
Eyes
is. I think
movies.
this is like prime Moranis time.
Yeah,
Oh,
could be.
wow.
PM.
Cool.
God damn it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling conflicted. Dan, how many snow angels are you going to give this one?
I don't know. I'm always wary when we watch comedies because they do not age well, usually. I'm gonna loop myself in to a cowardly 3
Ooh,
Snow
wow.
Angel
Wow.
rating.
Wow. And I just want to clarify that this snow angel is the groundhog making a snow angel.
Oh.
So it's a
Groundhogs.
groundhog-shaped snow angel.
Wow, that's so much cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still going to
to
say 3, but I'm excited that there are 3 of them.
Do you think they can execute an angel shape? I just
Yeah.
feel like they're gonna spin around.
Well,
a
can
bunch.
we execute an angel shape?
Yeah,
Come on.
Do we know what angels really
No,
look like?
I feel
I
like
do.
How many fit on the head of
I
a kid?
do.
What? Oh,
Save us a second
sir. Oh, I get it.
Cliffhanger.
Wow. If anything, a groundhog would be more like a cherubim,
Oh,
because
it
it's like
would
all
be so
stocky and
cute.
tiny.
I'm just questioning the amount of motor control that a groundhog.
Oh,
Has.
According to this movie, it can steer a vehicle.
really?
Yeah.
So, come on. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we feel in the second half.
3 groundhog gopher.
Oh,
Groundhog
boy.
angels.
Groundhog angels. Yeah.
I remember loving this movie, so I'm gonna go 5.
What?
5 Groundhog
Wow.
Angels.
Wow.
Feel bold.
Well,
That's
Big
you
man
know
bang.
what
Considerable.
happens if I don't get it right? Nothing. Because I start this day over again.
yeah.
I've done this day so many
Oh,
times.
no.
oh
Eventually, I'm gonna be
no. You
able to,
are 35.
Eventually, I'm gonna be able to like just say all of the lines in the movie. That's how the podcast will go one
Ooh,
day.
do you think, just random, quick bet, do you think at some point he literally just like enthusiastically explains this to someone in the movie?
Yeah.
Like, please help, I'm trapped in a time loop or something.
Yeah, I think he gets very sarcastic and mean. He doesn't in a really mean way. Like, you don't matter. He punches that guy in
Ooh.
the face.
Oh, yeah, he definitely
Yeah.
punches a guy.
Yeah.
Punch the guy in the face. Oh, Ned.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he goes
Yeah.
through at least one version of the day where he just tells people, but he doesn't like beg for help.
Okay.
But you know what? Maybe he does. I don't know. It sounds like a bet. Begs for help is a bet, and it's just generally mean one day is like the whole movie. So I don't think we really count that as a bet.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna give it 4.
Okay.
I also remember liking this movie, and then on top of that, I think Bill Murray says the best. He thinks it's the best movie he's ever done.
What? That's new
Wow.
information.
At some point, I mean, he's done more movies. Maybe like Zombieland came up, and he was like, "That's the one for me." So, and I think there's gonna be some sad old men in it,
Right.
Wow.
which I always like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow.
Chipmunk, Snow Angels, or
What?
Groundhog.
Come on.
That's
the
not
name of the
Chipmunk
movie
Day.
that we're watching?
Yeah.
Chipmunk. Dale.
Chipmunks.
It's a prequel.
Chipmunk Dale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Everybody knows that chipmunks grow up to be woodchucks, which turn out to be groundhogs.
Oh, it's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Ah,
Come on. You're my best friend.
gotta catch them all.
Molly.
I'm gonna go with 3, but not because I'm a coward.
Oh.
Because I am hoping that I will end on a higher note. That I'll be like,
Oh.
oh man, this is so great. This is definitely a 4 or 4.5.
That
But-
sounds kind of cowardly.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's more optimistic. Because if I
Okay.
were to give my true, like right now I'm feeling a 2.
So just say
Groundhog.
2.
Okay, fine. 2 in level of.
'Cause you know
current
what happens
excitement
if you're
to watch
wrong?
this movie.
Nothing.
We do,
I
do
listen.
this day
I feel
over
like a
again.
bunch of listeners just turned off this podcast because they're like, if it doesn't matter to them, then who is it supposed to matter to?
The ratings? What are we talking about?
They're gonna turn it off if you're not being true to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. They're like, well, if they're just playing characters on the podcast.
Yeah.
They don't really. Okay, so I'm gonna commit to 2.
Okay.
2 Groundhog Angels. That is what I'm committing to.
Great.
All
I'm
right.
proud of
Everybody
you.
looks shocked.
I'm very proud of you.
I was expecting explanation, but you don't have to give any.
Nope. I'm not going to chase explain that one.
Great.
And with that, we're going to press pause, go watch Groundhog Day, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We just watched 101 minutes, or was it 30 minutes, looped together, we're not sure, of Groundhog Day, the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all right.
All right. We did it. Good cast.
Oh,
Nailed it.
all right.
Came out in 1993. Dan Linden nailed it.
Boom.
Good job.
Oh, the
I could
best.
sense it. I could sense the 93-ness.
Yeah. This is in primo fashion zone of the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I guess I do want to get to it right away. Andie MacDowell
Vest?
has a fucking sweet ass vest.
Oh.
It's like loose fitting and got vertical stripes.
Like
Yeah.
satin or
It's
The
something,
back
right?
is satin.
It's
Yeah.
like pink and then a floral
Yeah.
stripes.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks
like-
like it also could be like a pillowcase
Yeah.
on a
It's
couch.
like Laura Ashley meets menswear meets TJ Maxx. I know it's really mean, but
Molly
it's
had a visceral reaction to that vest when it was first revealed to us as an audience.
And it is shown multiple times.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Oh.
because the same day is happening over and over, we see all the same clothes.
Yeah, I mean,
I do have a question about that. Don't
The
you feel
vest?
like, well, the vest, but also just the clothes in general?
'Kay.
Because I feel like they all change their outfits so much. Like, you don't change that many times in a day.
who?
Oh,
Like-
you mean the characters?
Yeah, because she's wearing something. I guess she has a jacket on
Yeah.
in the morning.
And then
So
Larry,
maybe she has the vest on underneath
yeah,
that.
and then
okay.
Larry puts on his like trolling for ladies sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Boy, Larry.
Jeez.
We had high hopes for Larry, I feel like,
We
as
did.
a group.
Yep.
Larry seemed like he was the good one.
He did for a very long time.
Yeah.
Then you have to fall out of like with Larry.
Yes.
Yeah, hard.
I guess as Bill Murray rises, so falls Larry.
Yes,
As the
because
saying goes.
yeah, because as we all know in movies, there can only be one
Good
good
man.
man.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the main character must choose between them. Can't just decide to be an independent lady with her own hopes and dreams.
Between who?
Oh, between Larry
Oh,
and...
she was never choosing between Larry.
They
was
set
a-
it up a little.
There was a moment where early on, Bill Murray's a jerk.
Yep.
And he makes fun of Larry's getting ladies vest. Or not vest, sweater.
Sweater.
And then Andie MacDowell and
Rita.
Larry's Chris Elliott, by the
Oh
way,
yeah.
go off together. And
They have a moment.
it
Yeah.
seemed like they're at least friendly.
Sure.
And maybe over time, that friendship could grow into something
Perhaps
more.
at a normal pace that you would expect two people who know each other.
I feel like Larry was gonna blow it though. The way he was working on Nancy later, like he clearly was gonna go
Yeah.
too hard, too fast,
Yep.
Too furious.
too furious.
I feel like, yeah, it's interesting how the day changes for the other people depending on what he does.
Right.
Because you would think that he was interested in Andie MacDowell, who is her character's name is
Rita.
Rita.
Yeah.
But toward the end of the day, it's Nancy that he's interested in.
Larry?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I feel like Larry at that point is just casting around.
Yes.
Because he's
just-
like, oh, if Phil can get somebody
Mm.
and I'm not going to get access to cool Rita, then we'll see what's up with Nancy.
I think he's sort of like Larry's snowed in. Larry's just looking for ladies
Yeah,
in
Larry's
this
looking
small
for
town.
love. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just buckshotting it.
Whoa. Wow.
I mean, that's accurate.
And Nancy plays the role of the hot chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh.
that
Well,
was
how did
hot
you
chick.
describe it? I feel like there's a
Oh,
specific way.
attractive lady, maybe?
No,
No,
you said hot
hot
chick.
But there was something else after it. I feel like there was a second qualifier, right?
I didn't write it down.
It was something like, it was like a hot chick that is
Was-
from somewhere.
To
Yeah.
get with?
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Am I wrong that that's the role that
That was her
character
role.
occupies?
Yeah,
That
that
is the
was
role
her
she
role.
occupies.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Pretty. I don't know. Can we talk about what a problem it is to watch this movie through 2000s something eyes? You know what I mean? Like, because it came out in 93, but
Yes.
it might as
Yeah.
well be a time capsule of just straight up sexual harassment in the workplace. There is a scene where Andie MacDowell turns him down 7 times in a row.
Yes.
And it's like the work version of Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yes.
And it's creepy as hell. And
Yes.
it's super creepy. Like, there is
Yes.
no way for the two of them to hook up that's not creepy. And then at the end, we're supposed to think that he's grown so much because he falls asleep with his pants on.
I mean, hasn't he in some level grown,
He's
relatively speaking?
I mean, he's grown, but I don't know enough to be like a grown human, you know?
I think he's for sure grown. That's, right, in my opinion, that's the arc of it.
Yeah.
But
Are you explaining character arc to me?
yeah. But what I find problematic is that she's only had one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
kind of hinted that we would wonder about this. And that's maybe my only problem with this movie.
Wow.
I quite liked it, spoiler alert.
What?
Is that it would feel more honest if the struggle was more him against himself, because that's the only thing that he can really affect change on. Like everything else is fairly static. He's only got one day to deal with it, and so the idea that he can do a day so that Rita falls in love with him, and he tries to force it early on. That's what you're talking about, the baby it's cold outside scene. He tries to sort of video game it. It's very like adventure game of like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, restart. Restore my saved game.
And it's very creepy.
And he's like getting the right ice cream, saying the right things.
Right.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If working is banging, I guess.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting that it seems like they established very early on that he's in love with her or something, even before the days start, because when he does his hookup with Nancy day, he calls out Rita's name mid-bangage.
He also, like, right at the beginning of the movie, when you see her kind of playing around in front of the green screen, he's not listening to whatever the other guy he's talking to is saying, and he's just staring at her.
But he also goes way out of his way to piss on anything that she likes or expresses joy in.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, and then at the end, there's this whole speech about how I knew from the minute I saw you. And I'm like, I was like, bullshit.
Well, I mean, I do think that there's something to an immature person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, play, like, why can't I think of what that's called? The playground kind of thing of like
hit the girl
like,
and run away.
Yeah, exactly.
My friends and I in high school, when we'd see it when we witnessed ourselves, we would refer to it as glue bugs. Because, like, I'm putting glue and bugs in your hair because I like you, but, like, that's the only way they can express themselves is by just, like...
And I feel like that's what he's doing, is he's like, I like you, so I'm gonna, like, give you a hard time kind of thing.
In his 40s.
No, I know, but he's really immature at the beginning of the movie.
But he's gross.
Yeah.
He's gross.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's all gross.
And then,
except for one scene.
And then
this whole movie is terrible.
Is the one scene when the groundhog drives the car? Because you lost your mind during that.
Molly laughed for a solid, like, 10 minutes simply from the vision of Punxsutawney Phil with his little paws on the steering wheel. Which I love that is the moment. Like, I guess that's a perfect encapsulation of her relationship with this movie, then, apparently, is that this wonderful moment then ends with them driving off a cliff together and exploding.
Yeah, which I feel like is heavily foreshadowed.
Yes.
Because that's, like, the start of one of his darkest days.
Yeah, he's like, I have to stop him.
I have to stop him. But it is pretty funny.
Yeah, right up until the end.
Where they drive off the cliff and explode.
Yeah.
Chris Elliott's got a pretty good line when that happens.
What was it?
He's like, he could still be okay, and then the truck explodes.
Oh.
Comedic
Comedy.
explosion.
Can I take a...
Sure.
Okay. I agree that he's terrible, but also, like, that's sort of, like, the whole point, right?
Right. I mean, I think part of it is that the whole story it's what was identified earlier, right? That he's trying to show an evolution and growth as compared to this other character's relationship to him,
right.
as opposed to, and we're supposed to gauge his worthiness through her eyes. But I guess what I'm saying is there's not that much at the beginning that made me think that he liked her in any, like, even in like a glue bug way.
I took it
bug glue? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's sitting me down and about to explain there's no
No.
Santa Claus.
I am...
Like, no, guys are really terrible.
I just think I interpreted it as more like he was... I mean, he starts out of the movie, he's got a black little heart and doesn't give a shit about anything, and he's, like, momentarily distracted by Rita, who clearly is, like, very idealistic and has, like, a very positive outlook in the world. Mm-hmm. And then... Yeah, it's sort of it seems to be implied, though, that, like, in constantly spending time with her day after day after day, that sort of grows into something more complicated. So, like, because of the way movies work, I don't disagree with you that the way it's framed is like there's no actual successful demonstration of that when he says like, "Oh, the first time I saw you," that is just him like retroactively applying that to the first time he saw him, because he's been living with her for like 2 years or 3 years or God knows how many months.
It might be way longer.
Right.
Yeah. In rewatching this movie, it was years maybe.
It would have to be.
It might
have
be like
to
a
be.
decade.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
But no, I mean, I think that revisionist history makes a lot more sense to me. Although I feel like this is a story we tell ourselves. I mean, especially when I was in my 20s, I felt like every rehearsal dinner I went to for friends who were getting married involved some sort of speech, usually from the best man or the father of the groom, where they would basically say, my son is a horrible beast, terrible person, until Delilah came into his life and transformed him, and now he's an amazing person. And I feel like this is like a mythology that gets played out, and I want to be like, it's not a woman's job to help fully form grown men. And if, I don't know, right? Like, is it Beyonce's job to make Jay-Z a better dude?
No. But that's not how the movie ends. He has that day with her, and the day ends with him waking up again. Do you know what I mean?
He has the manipulative one.
Yeah.
But then just by virtue of her being angelic and around him over several years, he eventually becomes a better person. Right?
I don't know if it's her that's doing it, or as much as it's him.
It's like process of elimination.
I think he just is like, he's learning.
Yeah. Like the...
In order for him to learn, he's so horrible. In order for him to learn, he had to live the same exact day every single day to like see what actually affected change. But he even says at the beginning of that day, like, I don't want to, or I have things to do. And he like goes and saves a kid and helps those ladies in the car. And
oh, those ladies.
They
were the best part of the movie.
Flat Tire Ladies was
except for the driving.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, well, on his final day, I'll get to Flat Tire Ladies so you can espouse for that. But his final day, his final Groundhog's Day, is just like a day of helping people chores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he saves that kid. He saves the mayor from choking. Then he, like, pops up to save these 3 ladies in a car who are amazing.
It's 3 elderly women in a car, in like an old boat of a car. One of them is wearing a faux fur hat in the back,
like a leopard print,
and there's just and we don't know where they've come from. We don't know how long they've been driving in that flat tire. But one woman just goes, "Oh, it's total."
No, she says, "You totaled it.
You totaled
flat
it."
tire.
And I was so jealous of whatever day those women have had, and we never get to see it.
Yeah, I like to think they're having a 9-to-5 day, and there's like,
Ooh, do you think there's a guy in the trunk?
maybe boss in the
Do you
trunk.
think there's a guy in the
I guess
trunk?
it's a dead body in the trunk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be okay.
But
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to get back to this thing for just 1 second.
Yeah,
because
we should
I
probably
feel
get back
like
to it for like the rest of the show, because
Alright.
it's the philosophical
Because
underpinning of the movie.
I love Bill Murray,
Yeah.
right? I love him as an actor who has to this moment in time not been a profoundly disappointing or terrible person. Seems like
Google it.
Oh no, really? Oh God. Okay, well we'll set that aside.
Oh, as a person
As
or
a
in
person,
roles?
I don't know. In roles for sure. I really like Bill Murray.
Because he's a creep in Ghostbusters too. He creeps on Sigourney.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, okay, well, setting that aside, right? And we put in, I don't know, Seth, that guy with
Rogen?
Golden Globes. Yeah, Seth Rogen. We put Seth Rogen in this role. I don't like him. I just think he's a creep. You see what I'm saying? I feel like the charm of Bill Murray carries
tricking
this
us?
character and is giving us add a lot more weight to this character than I think the character's written. And I also want to point out that Andie MacDowell's character is totally pliable in this whole thing. There's a moment where she says, "You amaze me and I don't amaze easily," which is 100% the opposite, because I understand character arc, Dan.
Jesus.
The 100% opposite. Like, everything amazed her. She found joy and amazement in boring shit,
Yeah.
and that's why we like her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like she's saying it in an unself-aware way. The whole purpose of that line is to say he's making progress with her, and that's how we're supposed to measure him.
Sure.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally the parts of this movie that weren't messed up were the 3 ladies in the car,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the MVP bartender that I'm sure we're going to get to,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and that groundhog driving that truck.
So
Oh,
good.
yeah. I mean, the vests.
Vests are great.
Vests are great.
Here's okay. I guess this is and you and I have this issue with a lot of movies. I don't disagree that it's messed up, but I think that's the whole point of the movie. Like I said, I mean, it's a 1993 comedy, which
Yeah.
means they didn't think about it that hard. But ultimately, it is like this terrifying, like Sisyphean task, right? Where he is basically being tortured by reality, right? And because it's a comedy in the 90s, it unfortunately, I agree with you, it gets framed in a problematic way.
Yeah.
But I don't think it completely dismisses how unsettling the situation is. Totally.
You're saying I should give his character some slack because it's a really insane experience.
To some degree, yes. Like all the times where he's being an asshole, like that is, I feel like, one of the most realistic parts of this movie. Like if you got stuck in the same day in the same tiny world forever, your id would take over for a long time. That is human nature. Sorry, Mom.
Do you think, Molly, there you could see an arc for him? Like where he comes out the other end and you're like, he's a hashtag good man at the end? Is it just the fact that that the way we see that is that he falls in love at the end and that's how we know he's made it?
Yeah. No, I think it is possible and his character does have some growth and development, I assume. But it is hard. It's hard because that thing that's supposed to clarify it also masks what's him and what's her. If that makes sense, or her influence on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has practically no agency in the movie.
Yes.
She's like totally there as a litmus test
and
for
she
how
says
he's
no,
doing.
thank you, 7 times, and doesn't get anywhere in him leaving her alone.
But that's like the first third of the movie where he's trying to game the system.
Yeah.
He's trying to game the love system.
Like he loses in that scene, like that
Yeah.
day.
I mean, we all lose.
Eventually,
Yeah.
but talk about no agency though, and she works for him. She's
Well-
a producer.
Right. That's what I'm saying though. Like he's still in like id mode at that point. Like that is where he hits like,
I get that,
yeah.
but but her character has no agency in her work situation or in the way she's written.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
and that is the mirror by which we're supposed to see him.
Do you think, though, at the end, like there's a scene where she literally gives all of her money in the scene where there's like an auction, a bachelor auction, and like there's a shot where she's literally reaching her hand to him. Like that's what the change is it's not him pursuing her, it's her pursuing him. Do you feel like that is something? I feel like that's some agency there.
Yeah, I guess.
Although, I mean, it is difficult because the entire thing is like the things that he does are for her. So
I don't know if they are though.
I mean, but playing an instrument, like that's one of the things that she says that she loves.
But
that
the-
her perfect man would be.
But
Oh shit!
I interpreted that scene where he first hears the piano though, and this is I mean that's. I don't know. I interpreted that scene where he's in the diner and he hears that song on the piano as just him. Like there's this moment where he looks around the diner and no one cares.
Yeah.
Right. So he's the only one who's appreciating this beautiful piano song that's on the radio. So it's sort of just him being like, oh, there's like these wonderful things in the world.
Yeah.
I want to explore them more.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the point of that scene where he hears it on the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
It
also
goes
do-
from him really caring about like the little things, or not the little things, but like
Shallow things.
shallow things, to him focusing on the finer things in life.
Sure.
I do appreciate that scene where he realizes that the piano is a fine thing. He's reading a thick ass book, and I thought, yeah, I guess you probably would get there a period where you just like read
Oh,
big
yeah.
books.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like you spend all day at a diner just like fucking reading some Russian literature or something.
Yeah.
Sure,
Sure.
that's not a bad
good
way
for
to spend
winter.
a couple 1,000 years
Or
however
whatever.
long he's in there.
Oh. Oh.
I do. We could probably talk about this forever, if he's a good man or not. But I do want to touch a little bit on how long we think he's in there. There's a couple hints
Yes.
that I wrote down. One, when he dresses up like Clint Eastwood and goes to see that movie with some random babe,
woman. Yeah.
he says he's seen it over 100 times, and I think he's telling the truth.
Yep.
And then also when he talks about the card tricks, he says like 4 or 5 hours for 6 months.
Yep.
So like he's been doing that, like just that one activity has been 6 months of
Yep.
doing that.
Yep.
And then if you expand it to all the harder things he does,
Right. Like learn piano. learn
Ice
French.
Maybe he learns Italian
Maybe. It's hard to say.
with pork chop, as he calls him, which is very mean.
Yeah. Oh God, I love that actor though. He is in that
That's so
one.
good.
He's in that one moment, and he crushes it.
Yeah, he's the first one he sees on his repeating date.
So good.
Anyway, I think he's in there forever. Not
Like
forever.
a
but
long
I think
time.
it's like multiple years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about how as it gets further on in his timeline, I guess, there's like a different lighting effect.
It
Like he
seemed
just
like it.
looks sick when he wakes up every
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, and Beth, you made this point when we were watching it. It's like rough that he has to wake up at 6 a.m. every
Yeah.
day. There's like
Can never change.
absolutely nothing he can do about that.
Yeah,
Like
you
that
almost
first moment.
you almost wonder if the montage of him just destroying the clock. It's not even like, oh, I got to do this again. It's just like, shut up, and he just goes back to sleep
Yeah.
Yeah.
that day. That's literally all he does. That
Yeah.
iteration, he just crushes the clock and just sleeps the whole day away.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I watched this as a kid, it did not have the same weight for me as this time.
No,
of,
no
like
way.
How really bad that would be.
Yeah.
Like that is literal torture. I
Yes.
feel like it would be really, really
Yes.
Yeah.
soul crushing to like
Yeah.
every day. Like you can't really change anything, and you got to wake up at 6 a.m. to.
Oh, I have
And
a
he's stuck
fan-
in one
Yeah.
town. Like you can't go out. You can't travel or anything. Like
It's
I
noted.
had a fan theory watching this
Okay.
because he's staying at a cute little B&B he
Oh,
hasn't
yeah.
stayed at before. And the lady who runs it
Miss
seems very
Lancaster.
pleasant, Miss Lancaster.
She's go
And
straight.
he is quite rude to her.
Okay.
oh
And the little look crosses her face.
Do you think she's a witch?
And I think she is the one who has made him go through these days over and over again. And only when he is good enough is that she is satisfied and lets him move on to the next day.
Do you think
Wow.
when he gives his monologue to a sleeping Rita, she's like at the wall with a glass listening, and then like winks to her husband or something?
I don't know.
I
love
feel
it.
like Mr. Lancaster might be dead.
Oh.
Wow.
Do you think?
Yeah, probably.
We don't
God
see
damn
him.
it.
Yeah, maybe he's just watching Jeopardy.
Yeah,
He's
unless
not
he's
Jeopardy crowd.
unless he's one of my
Oh,
MVPs.
yeah, I
Jeopardy
mean-
couch old men.
Let's do MVPs.
All
There's
right.
so many.
They really are.
There's so many.
We already talked about the flat tire ladies,
Flat tire
which is how
ladies.
they were credited. Is that
Yes,
right?
Flat
Yes.
tire ladies.
Ugh.
Crushed.
They
They
were
were-
great.
so great.
Yeah. The old people watching Jeopardy.
Yeah.
While he's just like drunkenly crushing Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And they're like earnestly like very excited for him.
Yeah.
And don't seem phased that he's like drinking straight out of a Jack Daniels
I mean,
bottle.
you know, young people, they just they do what they have to do.
What else? Oh, there's one of the groundhog officiants
Uh-huh.
has a sign that says Blizzard, but he's holding it upside down.
Yeah, Blizzard guy.
Beth got it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think it was an accident, and then he just played along.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, because he notices and turns around. That
Yeah.
guy was really great. So many good mustaches and vests.
Yeah, all over the place.
I mean, we already talked a little about the most important vest in the McDowell's.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But the mayor's got a vest that's like red and black flannel.
yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, can we quickly like Brian Doyle Murray is a treasure, first of all. Bill Murray's brother, he plays the mayor. But I didn't realize how much of a treasure he is in this movie because I thought he'd spend the whole time just being up on stage and just Brian Doyle Murray in it for like
Yeah.
2 minutes. But when he kidnaps the groundhog, there's a point where he, I assume, deliberately chooses to run like a cartoon penguin or something. It's amazing.
That whole sequence is incredible.
So
like
good.
it is straight out of a cartoon.
so good.
The soundtrack can't figure out what it's doing.
No.
Or the score, I should say. Because it's like a car chase. Like the police are after him. And so it's kind of doing that, but also kind of being a cartoon.
Yeah, I think that was deliberate.
You think it was like, mix these?
You don't think they hit the mark on it though?
It was confusing. Maybe I was just living in the darkness and I was like, I know he's going to go kill himself
Yeah,
for that groundhog.
right.
What?
You were too focused on the real elements going
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
He's convinced that he has to end the cycle through sacrifice.
When I saw this as a kid, I never appreciated that, like, it wasn't that he was just, like, being an id monster. And he's like, I'm just going to steal the groundhog because fuck it. He, like, genuinely thought, like, oh, this might work.
Yeah.
If I destroy the groundhog, maybe it will break the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, He's a really good driver, though.
The Groundhog?
Groundhog?
Yeah.
It's a really good job.
He had kind of Muppet hands.
He
He definitely had Muppet
His
hands.
Tokyo
That's what got me.
Drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely had Muppet
Listen,
hands.
if someone wants to do a crossover image of a groundhog doing Tokyo Drift, I would I feel a tear coming in anticipation of how amazing that
Just
would
thinking
be.
about it.
It was, but he had little Muppet hands, and it was just so cute.
Would you say Scooter is your MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, Scooter.
Oh, hands down.
That
But I
is
feel like
the
Scooter is
Groundhog
even
actor.
more than an MVP. I feel like Scooter really is an anchor
Uh-huh.
for the entire movie.
You say he's the
Um,
groundhog of Groundhog Day.
Oh! He grounds you amidst all the misery.
Yeah.
Oh, but my second favorite MVP has got to be that bartender.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He threw so much shade.
So
He
good.
was amazing.
No time for anyone. Literally every time. It didn't matter who was at the bar. It would always cut to him just looking at them like shaking his head like, what the fuck are these people doing?
This freaking bar. I've been here
So
every single day for
Yeah, right?
Maybe
20
he
years.
has relived that same day forever.
Yeah.
And he's
Maybe.
heard every pickup
Do you think
line.
multiple people in that town are having the Groundhog Day curse and we just don't know it? That'd be amazing.
like that
Whoa.
guy's just like gotta come into work every single
Yeah.
day. Like he's really dedicated,
Yeah.
but just eye rolling
Yep.
constantly.
Yeah, he was real good. In the world where I was imagining that Bill Murray was living in a haunted bed and breakfast,
Yes.
and that's how the curse started.
Yes.
He was the bartender from The Shining, but I guess he's the bartender in a different location.
I mean, the
He's
whole
in the
town can be
Pennsylvania
like the hotel.
I guess they're all
Right?
a ghost town.
Yeah.
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 And then I guess rises beyond the level of MVP, but Steven Tobolowsky
Oh my God.
Wow.
is
Needle
the
Ned.
greatest.
He's so good.
He's so good.
So good.
He's so good at playing that annoying.
the most annoying man in the world.
He's
I
insufferable.
mean, at one point it just on the subtitles just said trill,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I can make the noise.
Yeah, and it was such an unexpected choice too, because it was literally just like, oh, where like Rita and Phil were like leaving the dance, and they run into Ned, and Ned's like, oh, you bought all my insurance, it's the best of my life, and he's like, where are we going? And she's like, let's not ruin this. She's like, oh, I got it. It's like, I don't even know. Yeah, he just kind of
He's
makes this.
responding to the sick burn that was
Yeah.
held against him.
This is the guy who says "bing" every time you say something correct.
Yeah.
This is the guy who had to say "whoa" like 40 times because he's a
Yeah.
professional actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just.
Crushes
It's
it.
Oh,
pretty amazing.
He did the whistling belly button trick at the high school talent show, which what does that even mean?
Yeah. There's so many details jam packed into his story.
It's so good.
What a rich, terrible character
Oh,
I never want to talk to.
He removes his hat to confirm his identity as if that's the identifying factor. Like, this part of my head.
Well, okay,
Oh.
Ned the head. Do you think he was bald in high school?
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
He's
wow.
also a needle nose.
Wow.
What is a needle nose?
Great question.
Does that mean
It's like
something?
a
Needle nose
long
pliers?
nose. It's like a pointy nose.
Okay.
Like a thin pointy
Nose
nose.
seems fine.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I don't think that he has really a needle nose. If that's what that is.
Maybe they
Sounds
just.
like he got picked on a lot.
Yeah.
Like those nicknames are not ones you give to someone you like.
No.
Yeah.
He dated his
Aw.
sister until he told him to stop,
Yeah.
which is a pretty good line.
Well, to be clear, he dated Bill Murray's sister.
Yes,
Oh,
not his
yeah.
own sister.
I was like,
I was like,
wait,
wait
what?
a minute. That's a dark
Yeah.
turn.
He's just
He's
the best.
so good.
He's
Like-
the best.
Well, it's so funny because the guy, the first guy he sees, Pork Chop,
Yeah.
like it's great because he like sets the he sort of sets it at this like very low bar of just like, okay, there's a lot of people in this town that are gonna annoy Phil with his black little heart, and like they throw that guy there's like, this guy's great, he's a little irritating in just that he's just like so boom, I'm so enthusiastic even though it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But then they're just like, oh, hold on, there are far more annoying people in this town.
But the thing about that first guy, who goes unnamed, we'll call him
Yes.
Pork Chop. He is so affected by Bill Murray.
Oh my God,
in a
that's
way
right.
the other characters aren't. So if Bill Murray is really rude to him, like it crushes him. And when Bill Murray is kind to him, it like is life changing.
That's right. I forgot. I totally forgot. Okay, that was my. And that might have been one of my two Scooter Punxsutawney Phil credited as Scooter in the end of the movie. that is one of my Scooter driving the truck scenes where I think it's like on his best day.
Yeah.
Where he wins the heart of a woman, which is problematic.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember what he says to Pork Chop. But like they keep the camera on him after Bill Murray leaves the scene, and he just did this weird little like he kind of like straightens out and puffs his chest up and gives a little nod, like I'm ready to take on the world. Like for no real discernible reason, Bill Murray has just given him this newfound lease on life.
Yeah.
He's like the kind of guy that looks for signs.
Ooh, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And like a good sign first thing in the morning is going to carry him pretty
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Like what a friendly man I met today.
Yeah.
I'm having a great life.
It's going to be good.
Ugh.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
was great.
And if
Yeah.
you think about it, yeah, not all the characters were as affected because you couldn't be. Like, you
No.
couldn't fit that much shock into one scene.
Yeah, think about that guy's day when Bill Murray just goes downstairs, comes back with a toaster, and kills himself for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be
That
rough.
guy's
That's
gonna have a
true.
rough
They
day.
don't show
Dark.
like the coroner or anything. And what's fascinating is they also like I thought once Bill Murray died that he would immediately wake up again, but they
No.
carry on the whole day. Like they identify his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real dark.
And,
Yeah.
I know like the theory of comedy is that if you're going to have stuff that's really slapstick, the darkness has to really even it out. It's sort of like the Airplane theory.
What?
Airplane, the movie, is so slapstick.
Oh.
But if you pay attention to the themes, they're incredibly dark.
Yeah.
And I guess the same with this. But yeah, man, that's rough.
Yeah, I really appreciated the suicide montage.
Yeah, I did too.
guess.
No, I did too.
Of things
I'm with
to
you.
say.
I'm with you.
It added a very real element to this. Like, I think that's a very reasonable point for
Mm-hmm.
someone to be at, reliving the same day over and over and not having a way out.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. This movie got real.
Life
It
is a
kept it
prison.
real. Yeah.
That is the lesson of this movie.
Oh my god.
God.
Life is a
everybody
prison
okay?
unless you are nice to people and
Okay.
actually try to improve others' lives, and then an underdeveloped woman will fall in love with you.
Yes.
What I took away from it is that I can change any man just by my presence.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just love
Over
him hard
time.
enough.
You have to be kind of hard to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
okay.
have to be nice enough to have something to aspire to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Nancy gave it up right away. Like,
Yeah. She's a whore.
Jesus! What? Who is this person?
I am
Chase.
playing along with
Molly
the little
Chase.
bit that
Okay.
we set up.
Everything Molly said earlier has been completely deflated.
it's that women on women.
But it was weird
Wow.
where she was like all about it, even after he was like a total dick to her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
called out
called
Rita like two
twice.
times.
And then like
yeah.
very facetiously was like, "I love you. Will you be my wife?" And she just was like into it.
Oh, you.
I guess she just wanted to get it.
I guess at
Like,
that
get it,
point.
girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then
She just
I
wants
still,
some of
you
that
could still
D.
play that character that way. Be
Yeah.
like, you're an a-hole, but I want that D. Like,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
more...
Honestly, if that had been in the movie, that'd be an amazing line.
Yeah.
All credit to the screenwriters.
Yeah, she needed to be a Samantha.
You always
don't-
try to do
you
this. You
don't
always
get
try to
that
do this,
show.
and you have no
You
idea what
have
you're
no
talking
idea.
about.
I mean, one of them wanted that D.
Didn't they all want that D
Yes, they all
on
did.
occasion? Wasn't that
Yeah.
the whole point?
But Samantha was like,
She really like.
so I'm the other person who's never seen the show.
I have also never seen the show. I have
Okay,
only
if we
seen the
raise
first movie.
$8,000.
Wow.
We'll watch all of Sex and the City, the
And?
series, and none of the movies.
Oh, what's the other show we're gonna watch though?
Oh God,
Entourage.
Entourage.
Oh yeah.
It would have to be
Oh.
Yeah,
Entourage.
we should
No.
definitely do that. How much
Please
money?
don't know.
How much money?
8,000.
Yes, $8,000.
I don't want you to donate that much money.
Do it.
Please don't make me watch Entourage.
Beth doesn't have to watch Entourage. I don't
Thank
care.
you.
I'm excited for this project.
$8,001. Beth doesn't have to watch Entourage.
I'm gonna donate that $1 myself.
Just start refunding. Oh.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about suicide before we got to this.
Oh,
and
and
before
then-
that, and after that, though, we were talking about like Beth's understanding of how to get a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is to make sure it's a coworker and to decline, but to do it in sort of a flirtatious way, so
Yeah.
you don't lose your job.
Yeah.
But then eventually he'll become a better man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here is the problem. If literally
Tell us.
no, but I mean,
Please tell us what the
if
problem is.
literally everything else, like if that entire great, best day where he's a good #good man, if that went entirely the same way it did, except like the last few minutes of the movie, there was like a more like, I don't know, Like if it ended on just like
he had woken up the next day by himself,
right,
and he goes downstairs
and they just
sees
had
her
like
lobby,
this very pleasant exchange,
and he says, "Would you like to get a cup of
right,
coffee
some
with
discussion
me?"
of like, let's progress this, let's get to know each other better.
Or even if he was like approached her in a really human, decent way.
Yeah, or even if she approached him at that point, like he'd already
Yeah.
had this very pleasant day, he was having a pleasant morning, being polite to Mrs. Lancaster, and she even suggested.
If she
Like-
said, "I have gotten a fantastic job in New York at a
Oh.
much better station and will be leaving. Would you like to date now that I'm leaving and no longer entangled in a career situation?"
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
See?
That'd be good.
It's a mess.
I think it could have been. I think that could have been a really beautiful scene, actually, to have her waiting at the bottom of the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I had a great day with you yesterday.
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
Yeah.
And then he could have his, like, you're really here.
Yeah.
But it's not as. I mean, I get why it didn't do
I
that
get this
because movies.
cinematic excitement of like, ooh, there's an arm reaching across and turning off
Yeah.
the thing.
But that's
Yeah.
like all movies.
And also, he pinches her really hard. There's a lot that is required of her to make him seem less boorish. It's
Yes.
like the Kelly and Regis show,
Okay,
where
I'm
like
listening.
Regis Philbin just gets to yell and be a grumpy old man, and he's made charming by Kelly Ripa's presence, where she laughs in such a way as to make it acceptable.
Oh,
And this is
sure.
women's job day in and day out, and we're trained for it at a very young age. That it's our job to make boorish, shitty men look not so bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's this podcast.
Oh my god.
When can we go back to talking about how much I love suicide scenes
Yeah,
in movies?
right? Hashtag life is a prison. Oh, can I pivot real hard?
Yeah.
Unless you want to keep talking about suicide.
I mean, I have something tangentially related, but
Oh,
ahead.
go for it. I don't want to lose this thread.
I appreciate the mental flow of Bill Murray,
Yeah.
like the stages that he goes through in this. They felt very grounded and real. Of like
Yes.
that one point where he
Groundhog.
feels like he is a god, grounded hog. Thank
Oh,
you.
nice. Yeah,
Thank you.
very good.
Thank you. Like he starts. He gets that early period where he's like game playing,
Yeah.
where he's like, what can I get out of this?
Yep.
I'll bang the hottie.
Yep.
I'll get the woman I think I love.
Yep.
And they'll steal the money, get the car, all that stuff. And then eventually, like at some point he thinks he's a god.
Mhm.
I found that delusional period like very like, yeah, you probably
Yeah.
would go through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just then the end of the arc, him coming out, changing everybody's lives, I guess that's where it's got to go.
Yes.
It could go way darker.
Oh,
could go way darker,
way
for sure.
darker.
Like
Yeah.
there could be like him massacring the town
Mhm.
Yeah.
at some point.
Or
Maybe
just
that
totally
did happen.
disassociating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that like wouldn't be a comedy at that point.
Like if we
Big
just
Groundhog Day 2?
Feel
witnessed.
bold.
What if like the next day he
February
goes
3rd?
to bed and he wakes up and it's February 2nd again.
Oh, he only gets one February 3rd? Then he
Yeah.
would be chasing that same second day the whole time, but it wouldn't be authentic anymore because
Right.
he's still chasing the
Yeah.
dragon of waking up on February 3rd.
Sure.
I've lost myself.
It's fine. I get it.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. And
Yeah.
now Dan's hard pivot.
The scene where, like, kind of the first indication that he's now his routine is like helping people and like trying to do as much good in the town as he can in one day. When this was a sign of that watching this movie at a different age for me was when he catches the kid who falls out of the tree. Like when I was a kid or however old I was when I saw this, I was just like, oh, good for him saving this kid. But this time, now that I'm an actual adult who is out of their 20s, as soon as he catches the kid, I'm just like, oh my God, that probably like shattered his back. That was my first thought. So I appreciate Bill Murray, the actor, or Harold Ramis, the director, or both. At least one of them was like, oh, you have to indicate that your back hurts because that is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
You're like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah. I have another lighter thing, which is MVP I forgot about, which is the tunnel cop.
Oh, he's great.
Yes, we
Early
only
on.
meet him once. That's why we
only
forgot
see
about him.
once, when they try and get out of town before they learn that they can't.
So good.
You can't leave. He doesn't do a great job of acting, but I really appreciate him for the closeness where he just jabs his finger at Bill Murray over and over and tells him he can't go through the tunnel because it's winter.
Yeah.
and he'd
Yeah.
die if he went that way.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. He really hams it up,
He's
and I
great.
appreciate it.
Yeah, he
good.
was great.
Oh, that's right. He even goes to a therapist.
Dave
That doesn't
Pasquazi.
work.
Pas-
Yeah.
Pasquale? What?
Dave Pasquazi.
Pasquazi.
Pasquazi. TJ and Dave.
Famous improviser.
Yep.
Credited as David Pasquazi.
Oh.
Can I make a correction about Andie MacDowell?
Yes.
I misstated something earlier. I said it was a movie called Caveman, and there may or may not be a movie out there called that, but that's not what this movie was. It was Greystroke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
Okay. So you saw that?
No.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure that was the one where she got voiced over. But, maybe that's not even her credit. Maybe, I'll do more IMDb research, and I will update via Twitter if somebody reminds me.
Okay.
But then she appeared in St. Elmo's Fire in 1985. A couple other movies, but it was 1989, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. That was the big independent film that made her very famous. And then that led to Green Card and Groundhog Day, Shortcuts, Four Weddings and a Funeral, and so on. So you're welcome.
Magic Mike.
And Magic Mike 2.
The second one? I don't know. She's in one of the Magic Mikes.
I
Great.
think it's the second one because I don't think she's in that. Well, you know what? Why rely on me?
She plays like a flirtatious mom.
Oh.
But her filmography has like 65 roles in it.
My goodness.
Good job, Andy.
Good
so
job,
I
Andy.
looked at the
Get
headline of
that
IMDb.
Money.
You're welcome.
Stacked at cash.
Stack that cash.
Multiplicity?
Oh, with
Yes.
Keaton.
She's in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't she the
Lady.
woman?
You know, the
God.
woman.
The
Speaking
woman
of
who
the woman-
improves him.
Yeah.
Passes the Bechdel test. This
Oh,
movie
yeah.
does.
Yes, and I was sort of right. It was the waitress.
Doris.
Doris, the waitress.
Who's great. Doris is also great.
So great.
Everybody in the town is great.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. Let's just take a collective appreciation for everyone in that diner where he's like demonstrating his godhood to her.
Yeah.
Most everyone in that diner is so keen on the stranger just knowing a bunch of shit about them. They're all just like, yeah, that's right.
Well, it's a small town.
I guess they're
that's
used to it,
I would have been like, what?
right?
I don't know you.
Ooh, the soon-to-be married people, they were the best ones of just the guy. Because he crushed his one line in that scene where he's like, oh, but what's her name's having's out. And he just goes, what? In this very petulant young dude way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then they come back later and he's like, thanks for talking her into marrying me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
That gave me a weird feeling. I couldn't quite decide. My first reaction was like, no one should be convinced to get married.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't know, being nervous about something and
Right.
being not, what's the right word? Having someone to talk to and talk through it.
Yeah.
Like, there is a situation where that's a fine way to go.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
but-
at no
but
point was it
specifically
like,
marrying him, though. It wasn't just the idea of getting married generally.
are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it was more
mean,
just
did you
like,
see him?
she's oh, Jesus,
He
Molly.
looked like a jerk.
Because he was tall?
He's just a teen.
Jesus.
Just a young teen.
This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm saying. You're like deflating your own position because you're putting all these shallow judgments on all the other men in this movie. So when you're saying that Phil is this awful person and he's gross,
Well, he is
how-
awful and gross.
Sure, but how deep is this criticism actually based off of? Maybe
Well,
you're just
we see a lot of
shallowly
Phil.
judging all of these
Oh,
men.
please.
I mean, most men are gross.
I'm not disputing that. No one is
I feel
disputing
like
that.
earlier in this podcast, y'all basically sat me down and told me that men are worse than I thought.
Did it? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Worse
that.
than you thought?
Yes.
Oh, when was that?
Oh, earlier in the run of this whole podcast.
No, like
Today?
earlier this very day. Or maybe I'm just reliving it.
Oh,
Ooh,
when
but
we
no.
said that Bill Murray was horrible because that's how he showed he loved her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was
I
some
mean, yeah.
awkward silence and some looking around and looks that to me said, who's going to tell her?
Oh, you don't know that happens? Is that new information to you? They're like, men are gross to show they like you, which is not okay.
No.
But it's
But-
real?
Yeah, it's very, very real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I probably missed a bunch of stuff. I probably missed a whole lot of stuff.
You're like, he's so rude to me, and he's like,
so
I love her
rude.
so much.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
So I'm
I
gonna
mean,
do
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Don't do that.
That's the
Hey,
thing.
teens listening to this
yeah,
podcast.
actually, hey,
And
teen-
full-grown men.
Oh, sure.
Well,
okay.
But they're a
Men-
lost cause. They should just be
screw
thrown
them.
in a concrete
Just
box and thrown in
go-
the ocean.
Live the same day over and over again until you change. Teens, you have a chance.
Yes.
If you like a girl,
Yeah.
just be straight with her and be kind. If she says no, stop doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Just stop.
Yeah.
You can still be friends if you're both okay with that.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, just
settle down.
fucking cool it.
Just cool it, teens.
It's not a prize.
No, she's a human being.
Yeah.
She could be your best friend in the future if you just give her a chance and don't see her as a prize to be won.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
Just saying,
feel
hashtag
like-
cool it, teens.
Hashtag cool teens.
I feel like we're changing lives on this podcast.
Well, Dan and I are living this day over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, life is a prison, and we are becoming less boorish because we spend so much time with you two. So,
We bet there would be snowmen,
yes.
and then someone, Beth, maybe,
That is not me.
Oh, it was definitely me.
doubled down on the snow things and said, if there's snowmen, there must be snow angels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
No
really,
snow angels.
We really,
We were really
really wanted snow
hoping
angels.
for
I
it.
mean, there was like a sort of collapse in the snow.
Perfect
Uh,
opportunity.
Perfect
Perfect
opportunity.
opportunity.
Disagree that it was a perfect opportunity.
Why?
Wholeheartedly. Okay. You're having a romantic day with the woman that you're in love with for whatever reason. Let's not talk about it. You get attacked by teens.
Oh, yeah, those
throwing
teens
snowballs.
just randomly throw a snowball at an old man?
Again, there's something wrong with that. Let's not talk about it. You fall down. You stare into each other's eyes.
Yeah.
At that point, you roll away from her and start flailing your lips.
Okay, let me present this to you. Maybe though, right? We're getting that is the chase golden path where you're not coming on too strong and you're just like, let's have fun, let's make snow angels, let's get to know each other better, let's have a pleasant conversation while we flail our arms up and down in the snow.
Yes, there's a path to that. It's not my path. And if it's not whoever's path I'm in with the snow, they're not for me.
Oh,
And I'll cool it and I'll go on my way.
there is a second take with the teenagers pelting them with snowballs, where his dialogue is something
Oh,
like,
it's so good.
Wish I could have talked to you all.
Like every line is just him hitting this kid's thing over and over and over. It's so perfect.
It is really good.
I think that scene is really great too.
I
because
love that
that comes right after the sequence of him trying to do it right and win her video game style.
Yep.
And it feels like that's the one right after he felt like he almost had it.
Yep.
And he's realizing it's not going to work.
Yep.
Like this way is not going to work.
Yep.
So he's kind of like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Desperate.
Snowballs. Yes, I love everything. Let's
Desperate.
adopt
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
And he's just like losing his mind.
That
And she's like, stop.
That to me, honestly, was the most. I mean, that was the most male day of the whole movie, in my opinion. Of just like, oh, that didn't work. I'll just try it harder and with more desperation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids, if you're listening,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Teens,
Listen,
fucking take a break.
just take a breath. Talk to whichever parent or family member you trust if you have feelings that you can't quite
Yeah.
parse out yourself.
If there's no one in your life that's like that, tweet at us.
Tweet at us. Absolutely.
We are here for you, teens.
Absolutely. Listen. We are all of various ages, even though we were all secretly 35. We're all various ages, slightly different backgrounds. We've all had different experiences with our fellow human beings. I'm sure as a brain trust, we could help some teens out
Yeah.
for like little stuff. Like if you've got like serious issues, I encourage you to seek professional help. Call the hotline. But if you just need to know how to cool it, we can probably help you out.
Yeah.
Hashtag teach me how to cool it.
Oh, I love it. Teach me totes. Hashtag cool it teens.
Teach me how to cool it. We should go into schools. And
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Okay. If we get $9,000 in our Patreon, we will start a touring, educational, edutainment, live podcast / sketch comedy show.
We'll all get solid colored T-shirts of different colors.
Absolutely. At least one of us will wear a floppy hat.
Yeah.
We will have at least one hula hoop.
There will be so much sitting backwards in chairs.
Yes.
You will not believe it.
We will hire a keyboard player. And we will teach you how to cool it. And all your peers.
Yeah. You will probably talk during that assembly.
we're gonna need new microphones, but ones that like are like the ones that go around your head.
Yeah. Oh,
Like a
yeah. Addendum. We will sweat very heavily on stage.
Probably in areas that will be uncomfortable. And you will laugh about.
Uncomfortable for us, and uncomfortable for you to witness.
That will be a test in how well you can cool it.
We'll act out scenarios that are true to life.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
In which we will all cool it.
Yes. Well, one of us
One of
will
us won't
start
cool it.
not cooling it.
Yeah.
One of us will learn.
We'll learn how to
Yeah.
cool it. And so will you, teens.
Yes.
will you.
$9,000.
$9,000 a month.
You hear that, parents?
Yeah. Hey, parents.
Hey,
Maybe throw a little green our way.
throw a couple duckets.
Do you
Is it
care about
ducats?
Ducats into our bucket.
Yeah.
ducats in our
Oh.
bucket?
That's word.
You got a hot teen?
Wait.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. What? Let's back up.
I got
Let's wake up 6
Okay,
a.m.
okay.
I got you, babe.
All right, parents.
Starting over.
Is your teen hot? Give us some money.
Wait.
We'll cool him
No,
down.
6
Oh,
a.m.
I see. Okay.
6 a.m.
Got it.
6 a.m. We're almost there. We're
All right.
almost there.
Hey, parents of hot teens.
No.
God damn it.
Alert! Alert!
No.
Is your teenage son or daughter hot? Submit dollars to patreon.com/TotesRecall.
We will cool it.
Wow. We're entrepreneurs, man.
All we need is 8,000, 9,000.
9,000.
$8,000 is on Sex in the Tourage.
Sex Tourage.
Sex Tourage. Yep.
Ugh.
Hard pivot. Rita has a weird favorite drink.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Rita.
You know what?
Sweet vermouth.
I did not like that
on
part
the
of the
rocks
Sweet vermouth
with a
with a twist.
I hope a twist of vodka. Maybe a twist of martini.
Who knows?
I believe with a twist means lemon.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Don't dansplain that to me. I know what it actually means. I was
boy.
making a hilarious joke about no one should just be ordering sweet vermouth. It should be an ingredient in a martini.
Do you think?
Did I really hurt your feelings? I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
No, I'm fine. It's acting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But also,
That was
thank
really
you.
good acting.
Thank
It'll
you
be
for
good for our
showing.
Educational show.
Thank you for showing how to be a good person. Now Dan has seen that, and he'll wake up tomorrow and relive this and be less of a boorish man.
I've
Question
learned to
for
cool
you:
it.
do you think the classic doesn't have time for it shot of the bartender was they had a camera positioned to get that shot? They didn't tell the bartender what Andie MacDowell's line was going to be. This was a real bartender. This is not an actor. This is a bartender that they brought in for the day. And they're just like, like it's just your regular job. Like, this is just your regular job. And they're then, without him knowing, the lead actor of the movie ordered a sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. And that was just his genuine reaction to someone ordering that.
I think he is honestly a genius actor who was able to recreate nuances to that same expression
Yeah.
multiple times that all fit exactly the situation. Now, could it be like they do with those HGTV shows?
You're going to have to elaborate. on
What do
that.
they do with those HGTV shows?
So if you see shows like Design on a Dime or Flip It or whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Flip it or whatever.
My favorite one.
Yeah, I
Great
love Flip
show.
It
I
or
watched
whatever.
that. You know that like when you turn on HGTV and then they just play the same show all the time. My favorite days are when they're playing Flip It or whatever.
$10,000 Patreon. We will start a show where we try to flip houses and then immediately give up when we realize we do not have the skills or the capital
Yeah.
to do it successfully.
Yeah. And that'll be the big reveal. Do we flip it?
Or whatever.
It's
Well, sometimes on these reality shows like that,
Uh-huh.
what they do is they'll have a couple like react to what the designers have said on the inside of their house. And very naively, I always thought that they were actually showing video of what the designers were saying, but of course they aren't. I had friends who were on one of those shows, and they're like, no, they just have you hold a blank iPad in front of you. And then they say stuff like, what if they say your house smells like dirty old snails? And they just get them to do different facial reactions,
love
these
it.
extreme reactions, and they just piece it together later.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that, but I...
I feel so
Believe it.
naive for not realizing
There,
it.
Did you know that in a lot of reality television, when rich women are yelling at each other at bars, those reaction shots that are nonverbal may not actually be occurring at the same time as the horrible statements are being made?
That makes sense. Because how many cameras do they have?
I got at least 3,
did see
right?
in
Ooh.
Miami, which gets mentioned several times in this movie in that opening banter.
Yeah.
I did see, what's his name from Jersey Shore? That
The
one guy.
Situation?
Yeah. He was being followed by cameras. And it was like pretty small cameras. Like I always pictured bigger ones, but I guess you got that many in that much time. Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in Austin, Texas for a time.
Sorry, what?
Wow.
Let me
Where'd
take
that
that
come from?
6 a.m.
I lived in Austin, Texas for a time.
Oh.
And that time corresponded when The Real World was filming there.
That's amazing.
And I worked for a sandwich shop, and I delivered a sandwich to The Real World
Just one?
house.
Wow.
Well, a
like
bag of
Alfred
sandwiches.
Oh,
Hitchcock.
okay. All right.
Were they like, thank you?
I said, how's the show going? And they said, we can't talk about it.
Oh.
Wow.
And then they paid me, and I left.
Great.
Wow.
Wow.
I also saw them at a bar, and everybody kind of hated them.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
That's it.
Great.
But
The
the-
magic of television.
The belt I just bought, no, not just bought. The belt I bought there,
Oh.
that was 12 years old. I bought a used belt in Austin,
You were
Texas.
12 years
Sorry,
old in
what?
Austin,
Story
Texas?
is
Let me
not
start
going.
over.
6 a.m.
Just start
Six
over.
a.m.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
I got you.
I lived in Austin, Texas for a
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And I bought a used belt there for
Ugh.
$8.
Okay, great.
And it just broke.
Wow.
Over 10 years old.
Wow.
What an interesting and important
And-
story.
The new belt that I have is not as good.
Oh.
You need to go back to Austin
I do.
and then get a used belt, I guess.
Yes, I'm living over my time in Austin till I find the right belt.
Yeah.
So this is where I go. What a great story.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh, belts.
I think you actually hurt his feelings.
Yeah. No, he's crushed. He's crushed on the inside.
Well, before we get to how we feel about the movie for real, we like to read a review of our own podcast, a 5-star review,
Oh,
left somewhere, probably iTunes.
probably.
If not, tell us somewhere else. In the impression of a character from the movie or someone else. Nick Cage,
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante, Joe Prado, if we're so inspired. And we do have reviews,
Wow. Multiple reviews.
but don't stop leaving them
Yeah, please.
because we're going to keep doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So get over to iTunes.
Yeah.
Does
I mean-
anybody feel particularly inspired? I don't know, Flat Tire Lady?
I mean, they all kind of were just like, you know, standard American English actor characters,
Sure.
right?
Maybe Joe Prado. Just throwing that out there. Maybe Joe Prado might
Sure.
be fun.
Joe Prado.
Director,
Joe.
Transportation.
Do you want to do it, Molly?
Okay,
No,
when you
Captain
say Joe Prado,
Transportation.
do you mean Joe Prado or do you actually mean Joe Dante?
I don't care.
They're two. Okay, they are two very distinct characters.
Okay. I mean, this review is also called Cage.
Oh,
Oh.
Okay. I
Okay.
think that's
Well,
where we
I
have
think
to
it
go.
calls for Cage.
It calls for
Alright.
Cage.
The time for Cage.
it's literally just called Cage. All right. Gotta find my. Sorry, I gotta find my entry point. This podcast is great to listen to while driving through Louisiana. It is also nice to listen while flying through the air. Huh. I've enjoyed every episode. Please tell us more about the salads. Casey's Fan Club. That's the name. The username is Casey's Fan Club. Thank you, Casey's Fan Club.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Casey's
Fan Club.
Oh.
Yeah. Today's the salad was a garden salad with croutons that honestly got a
Okay,
little
Molly,
soggy.
no one wants to hear
Yeah,
about this.
nobody knows the freaking salad. Are you
He
kidding
just
me?
said he wants to eat a salad. We also got a Greek salad. It turns out Dan doesn't like olives, so
I like
good to know.
olives. I don't want to be misrepresented on this show.
I do not like olives.
This Dan likes olives.
They're a gross food.
What? They're
I'll-
just like salty deliciousness.
Yeah.
They got a weird bitterness to them. I don't like.
Oh, somebody's got some weird bitterness to them. I'll tell you that.
I mean, yeah.
Well, please mitigate it for the podcast.
Okay, somebody needs to cool it, but I'm not sure who.
Well, we got any teens in here? Has this ever happened to you?
That's the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
Are those teens hot? Well, I've got some advice for you.
Well, our name is Totrico, and we're here to say.
I'd like to cool it in a cool way. Hey, you're teens. Are you super hot? Come on over and take a squat.
Oh, $9,000.
Beer, beer, beer.
Yeah, we got to get that air horn in there.
Yeah.
Teens
Oh,
love
right.
that shit.
That's true.
Dan, you gave it 3. You were worried about how comedies could hold up.
Yes. Oh, that's all I said. Okay.
That's all I wrote.
Yes. I think the parts that were actual jokes were still pretty funny. Like, I feel like with a lot of Bill Murray movies, a lot of it is just like, hey, it's Bill Murray doing what he does. And, like, whether you are in the mood for that is whether you find it funny. You know what I mean? Because, like, a lot of the jokes weren't really jokes. It was just him just like, hey, I'm just going to say these lines in a snarky Bill Murray way. But the stuff that was actually, like, funny was funny. The scooter driving around thing, great. Brian Doyle Murray, great. Bartender, great. Larry, crushed it. I thought the premise was really interesting. And despite some missed opportunities in the script, I think overall it was a cool concept and like philosophical discussion underneath this weird little silly movie. So I will give it 4 groundhog angles,
Wow.
angels,
Wow.
4 ground angles.
ground angles.
Beth, you gave it 5. You remembered loving it.
Yeah. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Because of those reasons that we had discussed earlier, but I still really liked it. I thought it was a funny movie, and I'd say 4.5 snow angels. Ground angels.
Which half of the groundhog?
Oh, the right side.
Oh, unconventional.
Yeah.
After it flew out of that truck, after it exploded at the bottom of the corner.
I gave it 4. Can't read what I wrote. I really, really liked it. Other than the one thing I commented earlier on that I said was my only problem with it. So, but yeah, it was maybe not as funny as I remembered, but made me think a lot harder than I remembered. I'm going to say 4.9.
Whoa.
Wow.
Which
really?
0.9?
The bottom 0.9.
Okay, so just like
No
a little bit of
ears?
the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
do they have
ears.
ears? I wasn't looking.
They got like
Hey,
little,
like
tiny
little
ears,
guys?
little woodland
I mean, they
creature
have
ears.
to have ears.
But I mean, like, do they have like big, prominent, any
No.
kind of? Are there points, or is
I
it
don't-
just like a
no.
little?
It's just like little nubs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, I think for me, a 5 would have one small tweak to the script to change our conditions for how it looked like he was a good man, where it wasn't just sexual conquest. Oh, we didn't talk about did they bang?
Oh.
Oh,
Did they bang? Did they bang? Did they bang?
Bang.
Did they bang?
All right. Easy ones first. Did Phil and Nancy bang?
Yes.
For sure.
I would argue that this is the first movie I've ever watched where you could theoretically ask, did they all bang? He's there for years. Did he seduce and sleep with majority of that town?
Probably.
Okay.
Well, he should have gotten together with the B&B owner.
Maybe he did.
Miss Lancaster?
Maybe he
Did
did.
that break a spell earlier?
Yeah.
Would it though? You're saying through sexual conquest, she would have been like, okay, you've learned your lesson. That seems
That does
Like a
seem counter to
problem.
everything else I've said.
But the larger, more important question is, did him and Andie MacDowell bang?
No.
No, I don't
guess
think so.
not.
And they make a point of it in the script where he mentions he's still got his pants on.
Yeah.
Because she says like, "Whoa, why weren't you just fell asleep?"
Oh, he kisses her, and then she says, "Oh yeah, why weren't you like that last night?"
Yeah,
And then you just fell asleep, and he's still wearing his clothes from yesterday.
and it's
Yeah.
like jeans. Like it's
Yeah.
like,
And that shirt with those collars that were really popular in '93.
yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. 5 stars.
What?
Whatever. 5
Oh,
snow angels. That gives the
please.
0.1 because they
This
didn't bang.
conversation meant nothing to you.
Yeah, because he
I
did
haven't
it.
talked you out of liking this movie.
You haven't talked
I mean,
to me.
was that the point? I was never under the impression that was the point of the conversation.
Yeah. 5 snow angels.
no groundhog.
Made from groundhog bodies.
Whoa.
Wait,
Wow.
multiple
That is a
bodies?
weird way to frame it.
That is gross, man.
I mean, 5 groundhog bodies making 1 snow angel each.
Oh, like the beginning of Game of Thrones where there's a bunch of corpses like light out in a pattern
Well,
on
I
the
don't know
snow?
if they're dead or not. I didn't say that.
Whoa.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. I need a clarification.
No, they're alive.
Okay, cool. Just
Yeah,
hanging out.
They gotta move
They're
their tiny
having
little
fun.
arms.
Scooter and Co.
They're adorable.
Yeah. I
It's
want
like-
more groundhogs. You want less groundhogs in your life, Mom?
I
That's manipulative.
I did not care for this movie. Spoiler.
You gave it 2.
Yeah.
You wanted to give it a 3 because you felt like you were going to give it a 2.
Yeah.
But
And
then we... Go ahead.
I do want to remind you that you laughed for like a solid 10 minutes
Yeah.
at a part of the movie.
Like literally, we paused the movie so Dan could go do something, and you continued to laugh about it because you were describing to me
Yeah.
why it was so funny.
Because you weren't laughing as hard, so I couldn't understand why not. Yeah, yo, I'm still going to give it a 2. I just
that's
I
better than
enjoyed
I
the
expected.
experience of watching it with you, and I really did delight in that scene. But I don't know. I found the movie repetitive and frustrating. And I'm sorry. I know there was a lot to it, and I love Bill Murray, and I love the people who created it, and the townspeople were awesome. I just couldn't get past the whole manipulative, kind of creepy side of it. I can't watch it with 1993 eyes.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, also, I never saw it when I was younger, so I didn't imprint on it early as oh, this is such a fun movie that I had a great time watching with my friends. I made a conscious decision to watch it in my 30s
Alone.
alone.
Yeah.
It's just not. I don't have any of that emotional resonance.
That's
So
fine.
anyway, if this is my one chance to impress Bill Murray, I'm really sorry, man.
I mean, I don't think it's possible to
It's
impress
possible
him.
to impress him. Yeah, he's fine.
Sort of lives
Although
in
he
his
did
own...
give a tip in a magazine that I use all the time.
Really?
Yeah, if you have an avocado that gets ripe,
Yeah.
you can just put it in your fridge, and it'll keep a little longer.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
I never knew that.
Oh, thanks, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also,
He
maybe.
is a good man.
but also maybe Google it. Sorry. Sorry, listeners.
Here's another avocado tip.
What?
Oh.
You cut an avocado
Northern
in half, and you only
California.
use half of it. Keep that pit in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll last a little longer.
Yeah.
Oh, because it keeps it less exposed
I
or
don't know,
something?
something in the pit helps it not
Don't you
oxidize.
sprinkle it with lemon juice or something?
That probably
Shit like
works
Yeah.
that.
Sounds like another avocado tip.
Yeah, isn't that a
Yeah,
thing?
some people leave the pit in the guacamole
Oh, what does that do?
to help preserve it.
Does
I
that
don't know.
actually do anything, though? If you've
Listen.
already smashed it up.
Okay, my favorite avocado story is
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan DeQuette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.